The blues in E is a really great way to start playing acoustic blues. It's a very simple blues. Basically we have E, A and A7 and B7 and a few variations thrown in there as you start to become more fluent and more confident with it. You can play around with it. Because of its simple structure, it gives us a bit of a problem. Because as we start to sing, verse after verse, we want to make it a little bit different. We want to add variations. Because if we just play a basic E chord or a basic A chord, it quickly gets very boring, or it can do. And this is the cardinal sin. We must not bore people when we play blues or any other kind of music. So what do? We introduce variations which inevitably mean that we've got to use the fretboard, but we don't want to get too complicated, because remember, we've always got to maintain that old blues feeling, or at least try and capture it as best we can. Try and keep the old blues way of playing. But while we're singing, we don't really want to be playing lots of complicated stuff. Unless you're Tommy Emmanuel, then go ahead. So we're going to use very simple ideas to try and give this kind of old Delta blues feel. The first thing that I did was moved high up the fretboard here, so up to the 7th fret, to play this famous train whistle lick. Very often when I'm playing this, I'll bend that 2nd string, and maybe the other one a little bit. Or sometimes I play the notes individually. And add a variation by playing the last E string higher up on the 9th fret. Often, not always, I'll hit the monotonic bass at the same time. Or sometimes I'll just strum both strings with my big finger, my forefinger. Depends what I'm trying to do and the effect, and whether I'm singing or not. If I'm singing, then sometimes I keep the complexity down a little bit to make sure that I hit the notes and that my voice doesn't go out of tune. You'll notice sometimes that I'll damp that bass note with my right hand. And sometimes I let it ring. It's sometimes nice to let the bass note ring if you want to put some vibrato or a bend on the strings, and then it helps to provide to give that nice old acoustic bluesy sound. So to make this train whistle sound, I'm just going to place my index finger on the high E string on the 7th fret, my next finger on the next string along on the 8th fret. Now just strum it. Now if you play with the bottom E string, it already has a nice bluesy feel to it. Now all you need to do is just bend that 2nd string along, and you have that lovely train whistle sound. Also, if you play them individually, you can still bend it. You can add variations by using the 9th fret high E string with one of your other fingers, either the little finger, the pinky, or the next finger. And then I'll move down to the A. As you can see when I play, I keep my palm very close to the saddle so that I can drop it onto a string, any of the strings, to damp them off a little bit. So when I play this riff, very often, I'll play the low E string, open, and that will damp it, so that it makes a thud. So when I play in a damped format in this riff, I play this. You can see the guitar moving a little because that's because sometimes I don't bend the string in this way, but I give it some vibrato by shaking my left hand and shaking the little guitar a bit. And it's by these combination of techniques, using the right hand and the left hand vibrato and also a bend, and using the damping technique, that creates this important blues sound. Of course, you can keep it in the simple format, and still create a wonderful bluesy effect. In this way, we can use very simple techniques to create our blues. We can use these old techniques to create our own songs while keeping that wonderful old feeling. In the next video, I'll take a look at what happens when we move down and play the A or the A7. And hopefully over the next 4 or 5 videos you can take these individual ideas and these riffs and start to put together your own blues in E. Take it easy, I'll see you next time.